All right. I think we're live. Still getting used to this streaming software eCam that I just paid the subscription for. But welcome back to the stream, everyone. Welcome back to today. I hope you guys are all doing well. Today, we're going to talk about the Tesla Model Y and the pending tax credit. Should you buy it now or should you wait? I know there's going to be some people commenting on the chat like you can't even buy one right now even if you wanted to, but in fact you actually could get one if you know where to look, and I'm going to show you guys where to get a Model Y today, or maybe even like this month or next month, definitely for sure, because it's going to be September. But today we're going to get into on the schedule right here, current Model Y prices, the price increase. Is it going to the price is astronomically high right now, but is it going to keep getting higher, or is Tesla going to take advantage of the tax credit that's possibly coming? Are they going to raise the prices? And kind of my feedback on that, what I think they're actually going to do. We're going to talk about the tax credit, of course, dissect it. There's a really good article that I found that, of course, I'll put into the comments. You can take a look and read for yourself. It breaks it down on the tax credit and actually how there's two parts to it. It's a full $7,500, but it actually breaks down into two different parts depending on some certain qualifications. So in the Model Y may or may not qualify completely. So we'll talk about if the Model Y will qualify and what it needs to do to make it, and then what some other EV makers have to do as well. And we'll talk about my strategy, what I'm trying to do, because I just sold the Tesla Model S. I haven't made a video on it yet, but I have one pending, and yeah, I sold it, got out of it a couple of weeks ago because I felt like the market was about to turn. And of course, we can go through the data on that with the auction data, which there's actually two that went today, two that sold, in which there is some heavy price corrections for the Model Y. And at the end and throughout it, we'll do Q&A. So if you have any questions on buying a Tesla, selling a Tesla, go ahead and put it in the chat. We'll get through it. Be happy to help. But before we get into the video, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and then comment as much as you can. This video and live stream is sponsored by my Calendly link. I have a Tesla consulting call in which, if you're curious or you're confused about how to buy a Tesla or sell a Tesla or get good financing for Tesla, you can schedule a call down below with me in my Calendly link, and you'll also get my buying resource guide that has all the different links for all the resources that I have, how to get good financing, how to get a Tesla quickly, and get good insurance, and some other hacks as well. So definitely check that out if you're interested. It's a quick 15-minute call that you can schedule with me, and of course I'll respond to your emails or DMs after that if you have any other further questions with buying a Tesla. But let's get into it. I feel like I've been getting a lot of comments on my Tesla Model Y prices are crashing video. There's a lot of naysayers out there about the Tesla Model Y correcting itself in terms of price, and a lot of them say that there's a lot of demand and everything. But we're going to go through the Tesla Model Y really quick. So of course, this is the Tesla Model Y on Tesla.com. And what's interesting here is if you were to go buy or order a Model Y long range for $66,000, you'll get it. ETA, estimated delivery. I'm in California, so maybe this is like a little bit bumped up versus the other coastal cities or across the coast or across the country on the East Coast. But Tesla says, I'll get a Model Y long range this year, December through April of next year. And if I mess with the options, it looks like that might push the timeline. But let's say if I go fully loaded, because Tesla likes to deliver high revenue cars for their profit. So if you start adding a bunch of money, adding a bunch of features, especially full self-driving, I bet it actually doesn't bump up. So it looks like that doesn't change it at all. But what I've heard is if you start to make it a super base car, so white is free and so is silver, change it to the 19-inch rims that are the free version, maybe take out the white interior and make it black, and take out the full self-driving, that's when your timeline will get pushed to March to even July of next year. So almost a full 10 to 11 months of next year, and this should qualify for the tax credit in terms of time frame, because Tesla gets the tax credit next year and you don't get it this year if the Model Y qualifies for two separate things with the tax bill. But the one thing that's super interesting with the Tesla Model Y is if you switch to performance, you're going to get it this year and you're going to get it next month, especially for California and where I'm at. And so a Tesla Model Y Performance at $70,000, which is insane in my opinion, considering that this used to be like, we can actually, so there's a Tesla price history tracker and you can see how much the Tesla Model Y used to be in terms of when it first came out. The Tesla Model Y Performance, when it first came out, was a $60,000 MSRP car. And now it's gone up a full $10,000 to where it's at $70,000. That is absolutely insane. And you must be driving a ton if that math makes sense for you, and versus like a gas car or even a gas hybrid car. But that's absolutely insane, a full $10,000 increase. But I wanted to show this because if you order a Tesla Model Y Performance, you're gonna get it this year, and Tesla's going to try and make you to take delivery this year. They're not gonna let you push it out. They'll just try and cancel your order. It seems like nowadays you can probably push it maybe once or twice, but they're gonna want you to take your order almost immediately because they need that sales and that revenue. So that really starts me to get into the next topic, which is the price increase. And I think we'll talk about the price increase on Tesla Model Y and this speculation of, is Tesla going to raise the price of the Tesla Model Y? We'll talk about that after we talk about the tax credit that's coming up. So the tax credit that was just passed, the Inflation Reduction Act, here are the vehicles that actually qualify, so to speak, for the Inflation Reduction Act EV tax credit of $77,500. And of course, the Model X and the Model S don't actually qualify. The Model 3 might qualify if it's under $55,000 and it adheres to the two rules that we're about to get into. And same with the Model Y. After January 1st, if it can adhere to the two rules as set by the government, it might qualify for the full $7,500. But now you might be asking, what are those two rules? And so here's an article from NPR, which is a pretty credible source, I would say. And it talks about you can get the $7,500 tax credit to buy an electric car, but it gets really complicated, but it's really complicated. And the TLDR, if you skip down to the bottom, there's two sections of the tax credit. And really the tax credit, the $7,500 tax credit, is separated into two separate parts. The first one is it's divided by two. So the first one at $3,750 is if 40% of the critical minerals in the EV batteries are sourced from countries with which the US has had a free trade agreement. So if 40% of the critical minerals in the EV batteries are sourced from countries with the US has a free trade agreement. So then it makes you wonder, what are the critical minerals in a electric battery? So I went ahead and Googled that because I was curious myself. It looks like lithium, cobalt, nickel, graphite, and manganese. Manganese are the critical minerals that need to be in an EV battery, and 40% of that battery, or those critical minerals of that battery, have to be sourced for you to qualify for half of the $7,500 tax credit at $3,750. So of course, there's not a lot of information on where these batteries or these minerals they come from with for the battery. It's kind of like secret trade, I guess, and Tesla hasn't released it yet, or they haven't announced that to the government. But here's an article that talks about how these batteries actually might come from China, but it looks like it might have been debunked. And so there's really nothing that you can kind of look out for to see where these batteries actually come from. And there's really no deadline in which these manufacturers, all the other OEMs like Ford, GM, or at least deadline that I've seen, in which the manufacturers have to tell the government that they have the 40% of the critical minerals for that half of the tax credit at $3,750. The other 3750 is, quote, is linked to battery components. Starting in 2023, when the sales cap is actually lifted for Tesla and your vehicles might be qualified, 50% of the 50% of the components will have to be manufactured or assembled in North America. So 50% of the battery components will have to be manufactured or assembled in North America. And it seems like with the Tesla Gigafactory making the Model Ys and even the Fremont factory making Teslas, it seems like the Model Y will have a good chance of at least getting this section of the tax credit, which is $3,750. But we don't know. We don't know yet. Tesla has not announced anything. And I don't think Tesla is going to announce anything at least until January 1st, or maybe even the last week of December. And the reason I think that is because Tesla does not want to hurt their sales. Tesla does not want to hurt their sales at all. So they're not going to want to come out and say that, hey guys, guess what? The Model Y is going to qualify for the 7500 or most likely the 3750 of that 7500 on any Model Y delivered after January 1st. They're not going to come out and say any of that because they don't want to harm any of the pending orders or sales that are scheduled to be delivered this year. And so that's why the Model Y Performance, well, that's not why, but Model Y Performance, you can get it this year basically. If you order now, you're going to get it delivered within the month or 2 or 3. They're not going to want any buyer that is going to take a high revenue car like that to get any wind of any sort of tax credit, whether it's $3,750 or $7,500, and push or cancel or reorder and take delivery next year. So Tesla's not going to want to harm any of their current sales this year in quarter 3 or quarter 4. So that's why I think they're going to keep hush hush on it, and they're not going to increase or decrease the prices. Maybe just a decrease if they start to see a lot of cancellation in sales, but I don't think they're going to really change the pricing through the end of this year just because they don't want to mess with it. They don't want to give anybody any sort of inclination with whether the Tesla Model Y is going to qualify. They're going to wait till the end of December and maybe even January to actually announce whether the Tesla Model Y actually qualifies. So that brings us to the question, should you buy now or should you wait? Well, with the history of Tesla, every single time there was a tax credit of some source and also, of course, of demand, they've raised the prices. So you can pretty much be sure that if they announce that the Tesla Model Y is going to qualify for $3,750, then they're probably going to raise the price in some sort of fashion. They can't raise it too much because with the new tax credit, there's a price cap at $80,000. So they can't raise it to like $77,000 or $78,000 because with options and everything, it doesn't get there. So I might think they're going to keep it at this 70,000 mark, maybe just raise it a couple thousand, but that's of course going to be after January 1st because of that. So my strategy right now, I'm just going to keep an eye on it. I'm not going to order, I'm not going to block in any price because I know Tesla is going to want to try and deliver those cars directly to us to try and match out their end of the year sales. But the one thing is I do think demand for the Tesla Model Y is starting to falter just a little bit. And it might be because of the tax credit, people pushing their orders or trying to cancel and wait for the tax credit. But I also think it might be because we're at a price cap of how much people want to pay for a car because due to rising interest rates and also due to the rising price of the car, a Tesla Model Y is actually pretty expensive in my opinion. And so this is where I think demand is starting to change for the Tesla Model Y. So waitingfortesla.com is a great website in which you can actually see current and existing inventory that's actually available out there. And at the end of each quarter, you're going to see a lot of vehicles pop up on this website. So starting in September, maybe even the second or third week of September, you should be able to go to this website, click on Model Y, and there will be inventory here because Tesla at the end of each quarter tries to push out as many sales as possible and tries to kind of release all their demo vehicles, their test drive vehicles so that they can sell it immediately. But the cool thing with waiting for Tesla, I got to give them props, is they have a section of their website that kind of goes through the data of all the different vehicles that have been released within the past quarter. and they do quarter-over-quarter analysis to see has there been an increase of drops. And there's only one reason or a couple reasons for a vehicle being dropped on this website. The first couple reasons, of course, it's a test drive vehicle or an inventory vehicle. They're done with the lifespan and they want to release it so that they can be sold. But the other reason is canceled orders. Customers don't want to take delivery anymore. They can't find an exact match of some sort, or maybe the system's not lining up. So they release the vehicle on their website and waiting for Tesla picks it up. And so someone else can scoop it up as well. And if you look at the data here in terms of actual vehicles being dropped within this time frame of July 1st to the 29th of August, there was 42 Model Ys that came available for sale and someone else could pick it up. Of course, Model 3 and other version Model Ys, there isn't as much. The number one vehicle that gets dropped the most is the Model S Plaid. And in fact, there's 65 brand new Model S Plaids available that you can buy, some with a discount. So like this one right here is a $7,800 discount and it's a demo. It's a really weird one because it's a 2021 version. I don't think I would particularly get this one because it's basically 2 years old already. But the fact that there's a lot of demo availability dropping or canceled orders dropping is kind of interesting. And if you see right here, it's up over 240%. I'm pretty sure this is quarter over quarter, but it's up a ton, which is some sort of sign that maybe demand for the Model Y is starting to falter just a little bit, or demand for Teslas is starting to falter a little bit. And it could be because the tax credit is starting to come back and there's word of it, or it could be because of interest rates, or even the price of the Tesla is just getting getting too high, in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think of that. Do you guys have a order pending? Was it a Model 3, Model Y, S, or X even? And what's the dates look like for you? Are they changing? Are they getting pushed out? Or are you going to take delivery, or you don't care at all about the tax rate? You're just going to buy it. You've been waiting for a long time, and $7,500 or even $3,750 isn't going to matter for you. Let me know what your thoughts are. So really, the question is, will the Model Y qualify? And if it does, excuse me, it might only qualify for the $3,750 and not the full $7,500. And is $3,750, is that enough for customers to just pull the trigger if they've been waiting, or will they want to wait for that full $7,500, or will they just pull out completely because of that? And so my strategy is kind of an interesting one. So I think I'm going to wait a little bit for the Model Y. If I do put in an order, it's going to be late December, because there's two things. I don't want a 2022 at this point because you automatically get a 1-year-old car, and Tesla doesn't start to produce the next model year until late October, definitely late November, and of course in December, and those cars start to deliver in January. So I definitely would not want to take a 2022 model year. You basically kind of shoot yourself in the foot. You lose a little bit of value there. But January, I would want to time it where I take delivery in January, February, but I want to lock in the old price. So if my hunch is correct, I think Tesla's going to make changes, announce whether the Model Y qualifies for the tax credit or not in January, and then they'll adjust the price then. So if I were to time all that and gamble a little bit, I would try and put my money on ordering, maybe like even Christmas for fun, order it then. Ignore all their emails, ignore everything, because they're going to try and lock you down with an address and everything and try and make you take delivery if vehicles are available. Make you take delivery in December. Ignore all of that. Wait for a 2023 VIN and then see whether or not the Model Y qualifies for the full $7,500 or the $3,750. But if you can lock in the current price plus get that $3,750, that might not be a bad deal. But you're still paying over $60K for a Model Y, and the Model Y long range used to be in the mid 50s. So you're still kind of paying a premium. That doesn't really sit well with me too much, I think, but the Model Y is a great car. I had a Tesla Model Y Performance. It's probably the best Tesla in terms of balance for price, value, and size. The only thing I'd had a gripe with was the suspension, but still a really good car, really good daily driver. But over 60K is kind of tough because there's a lot of competition out there. The first one being the Ioniq 5, which I talk about a lot on my streams, and it being such a great value, and it was a slamming value when it had the full $7,500 tax credit. But starting at an MSRP of 40K and like the SEL mid-sized versions at like a 50 to 60K, you're getting, I think, a ton more value because the first one is the range is about the same as a long range, 303 miles, and you get 3 years of free charging with Electrify America. Where, I mean, Electrify America is definitely a tough charging network, especially in California. There's a lot of other cars that come to that charger. But 3 years, if you can time it right, that's basically free gas, free electricity for 3 years. I mean, I don't think I need to explain that, but that's a slamming deal if you can get one at MSRP or even a discount and not pay any sort of markup. The other one that's pretty interesting is there's a lot of competition coming out against the Model Y. The first one being right here, the 2022 Q4 e-tron, similar price, similar battery range, and arguably a better luxury car than the Model Y. The Model Y is great. Tesla is definitely a technology company, but it's not a luxury car company. But same price range, and you get arguably a nicer quality car in that same price point, maybe even cheaper. Another competition that's coming out is the 2022 EQB. This car I was eyeing for a bit now. Looks really cool. Love the styling of it. Same price point, but lower range at about 220 miles. But definitely a cool car. And they're around like the 57 to 58 price point for like a base one. So definitely cheaper than a Model Y as well. And for a second there, you could get the $7,500 tax credit, which would make it a slick deal. But unfortunately, Mercedes and Audi do not qualify for the tax credit. And lastly, there is the Lexus RZ. Same kind of idea as the Audi Q4 e-tron and the Mercedes. There hasn't been too much price point in turn that's been announced, but the range is probably very similar as well. But another car that is coming straight at Model Y territory and trying to attack it, and that is just elevating with a more luxury feel. So I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to wait and see when these cars come out. Hopefully I can check them out in person, test drive it, and see, is it worth going back to the Model Y with the solid supercharger network, or is there a better bang for buck at one of these other vehicles? Because I'm pretty sure the EQB at least comes with 2 years of free charging as well with the Electrify America. But it seems like a lot of people liked my last video on the Model Y and how prices are crashing, or a better word, of course, is correcting. And I can't end a live stream without actually going through the MMR auction values. And there was 2 that went at the auction today, which of course it's only 2 vehicles out of hundreds of thousands of Model Ys in the United States. But this one was super interesting. 2 of them ran today in the mid to high 60s. So these are 2022 Tesla Model Y long ranges, and prices are starting to decrease. So 66,500, oh sorry, that was actually last week, 6,500 with 5,000 miles and 67 with 9,000 miles. So this week, of course, there's going to be a ton more auctions during the week on the Model Y. I'm probably going to do another live stream on Friday to kind of address the Model Y auctions to see if my hunch is correct. Are we going to see a big dip in 2022 Model Ys, which would then or should trickle down to the rest of the other models, the used ones, and may show some point of demand on whether new Tesla Model Ys are at the price cap of $65,000, and that's the highest people will pay. Going to Car Gurus and looking at Tesla Model Ys for sale, not much of a change here from last week. In the past 30 days, the 2022 Tesla Model Y has gone down 2.3%, and then in the past 90 days, 1.58%. Seasonality, this probably is in line with the correction, or the correction for this time frame because people go back to school and the people aren't necessarily buying cars, or they've already bought cars. So this should start to correct itself and get back to where it was before. And then we'll see if actually we've hit the price top for the 2022 Tesla Model Y. But yeah, that's basically it. I just want to talk about today on whether the Tesla Model Y is it worth it to buy right now, because you can definitely get one now or within the short time frame if you really wanted to, by ordering one, a Tesla Model Y Performance, or of course waiting for Tesla in the next month, because that's the end of the quarter and there's going to be a ton of vehicles popping on there, I'm pretty sure. So definitely bookmarking that. They do have a Discord as well where you can sign up for alerts, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my strategy. That's the Tesla Model Y on whether you should buy one now or wait. But yeah, let me know what you guys' thoughts are, or what's your strategy. What are you going to do in the comments down below? But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Please hit that like and subscribe. And there is a buy a coffee link if you want to support the channel and my drives. I like to take iced coffee on my drives usually. So if you can support the channel, it starts as little as $5 and it really goes a long way. But yeah, thanks for watching the channel, guys. Please hit that like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.